To say that I was excited for the Hell's Paradise anime would be putting it mildly. This is probably the most hyped I've been for an anime in years.
For many years, I have waited for this day.
I went into the Hell's Paradise anime after having already read the entire manga and was interested to see how the anime would live up, but to say the anime shocked me is an understatement. This anime blew me away. Hell's Paradise takes place in the Edo period of Japan, where Gabimaru the Hollow, a shinobi from Iwagakure who is being sentenced to death after being captured during an assassination mission. Which, if you've watched Naruto Shippuden, you know that's the village that Deidara comes from. But thankfully for Gabimaru, he maxed out all of his stats because everything they try to kill him with doesn't work. Being set on fire? Nope. Having hot oil poured on him? Nope. Hell, he's so strong that a single flex of his leg muscle renders the balls that were trying to tear him in half completely immobile. Throughout all his attempted executions, Sagiri, an executioner who has been interviewing Gabimaru, notices that for a person who doesn't want to live, he appears to be resisting death. And through this, we eventually learn of Gabimaru's wife, an important and defining character in his life, someone who showed him that there is more to him than just killing. And because of this, he starts to care for her, which opens him up to all different types of emotions that he never had, helping to make him human, which is something that the village chief of Iwagakure sees as a weakness. It is this dynamic that Gabimaru struggles with and what makes him such an interesting character, with the anime doing a great job so far at showing just how much he has been affected by both the village chief and his wife, being used to represent the two sides of Gabimaru, Gabimaru the Hollow and Gabimaru the Human. Gabimaru himself has a huge transformation over the course of the story, and it starts with him accepting himself as a human being, and it grows from there. Then there's Sagiria Simon, an executioner for the Yamada clan. Sagiria is a character that grew up idolizing her father's mastery of the sword and execution style. She's an interesting character as she struggles to come to terms with killing people, as murder comes with its own set of mental baggage. This in turn causes her to be haunted by the souls of those she's killed. But after spending time with Gabimaru, she realizes that it's not about fearing killing, it's about having the resolve to take on the burden of killing countless people. The characters' relationships of both Gabimaru and Sagiri is one of my favorite things about Hell's Paradise, as they continually and sometimes unknowingly help each other. Despite Gabimaru and Sagiri being from completely different worlds, it's astounding how much of an impact both characters have already had on each other this early in the anime, as they slowly come to understand one another bit by bit. The manga also continues to develop the relationship between these characters, and what I enjoy about their relationship the most is how natural the progression of their relationship is. I think that pacing characters' relationships can be a difficult thing for anime to do, but in Hell's Paradise it is done incredibly well. In fact, I found that the pacing in general for Hell's Paradise was amazing. It was so good that it almost feels unnatural. Hell's Paradise moves at such a brisk pace and refuses to linger or stagnate, and it can sometimes make the pacing in the anime feel slightly faster. And while the plot focuses on Gabimaru and his journey to find the elixir of immortality, there are so many other subplots that are constantly happening and that focus on so many different characters that I think people are going to love how the story unfolds. I don't want to spoil anything, but there are some crazy reveals and surprises that happen throughout Hell's Paradise, and I can't wait to see how people react to them. I believe that Hell's Paradise will subvert people's expectations because on the island, nothing is what it seems. In fact, just in episode 3, one of the craziest sequences already happened, with countless characters being killed in the span of one episode. And some of these characters looked like they were going to be important to the story, but instead they were just killed off before anything has even happened. Like Keiun, who just gets turned into a human pincushion by Gabimaru. Other than all the surprises, Hell's Paradise manages to work in some sad and emotional moments into the story. In fact, arguably the saddest moment in Hell's Paradise is going to happen in the next few episodes. And even after reading it, I'm still not mentally prepared to see it in the anime, and trust me, neither are any of you. I pray for you if that character becomes your favorite, it's going to be a rough ride. Regardless of that, a lot of the supporting characters are surprisingly well fleshed out and are given plenty of time to shine. So if your favorite character survives the first season, which isn't many to be fair, chances are they'll be worth investing in. While a lot of the supporting characters haven't been introduced yet, I do want to mention a few of the highlights and some of my personal favorites that have been shown in the anime, with Yuzuriha easily being one of the best thanks to her cruel and eccentric personality, and I reckon people will like how she develops as a character throughout the anime. However, since some of the characters haven't had their names revealed, I will just be giving them names that I just came up with. So firstly, there's the blind swordsman guy who is basically Virgil from Devil May Cry if he was blind. Then there's Bakugo lookalike number 3001, with him just recently being revealed to be the brother of the executioner assigned to him, which is just another one of the crazy reveals that Hell's Paradise has to offer. And finally, there's this kid right here, who doesn't look like too much, but trust me, there are some other characters that are great, but just haven't been introduced yet, so I won't ruin the surprise. When everyone does eventually get onto the island, that is where the real journey starts, with the island itself being rather unnerving in its perfection and almost deathly quiet. When they do eventually encounter the other inhabitants of the island, let's just say it doesn't go over well. Even though these enemies aren't super strong, just their design is enough to creep me out, and looks like something that Junji Ito would have drawn. And while some of the main antagonists don't look super intimidating, they are unique to one another and can be quite unsettling to watch at times. And just the way these earlier enemies are designed, along with the overly perfect island, it really helps paint this picture of this distorted paradise come to life. Speaking of bringing things to life, I can't go any longer without talking about the animation. The animation in Hell's Paradise is nothing short of perfect. The amount of detail put into the animation is just insane, and the way these characters move is so fluid, it's crazy. They really had the boys in MAPPA working overtime on this one. Every single fight scene is animated flawlessly, and it's hard not to appreciate all the effort that went into making it look this good. Speaking about the fights, I love how they didn't compromise on the brutality, because it gets insanely gory at times, and sticks to the same level of brutality that is seen in the manga. I really appreciate the anime going all out and staying as true to the original material as possible. And it's really thanks to Chainsaw Man for bringing more violent anime into the mainstream, allowing the bloodier and more brutal mangas to get the anime they deserve without fear of having scenes censored because it's too dark. I would have hated to seen how this anime would have looked had it come out a decade ago thanks to all the censorship. It probably would have just been a black screen with voice acting with how bloody and graphic it is throughout the anime. And oh god, the soundtrack to this anime, boy is it a blast. It does a great job at emphasizing the tone trying to be set, along with it fitting the overall vibe of the anime. And that opening, god damn, is it something special. And in my opinion, it's in the running for anime of the year. The art quality is also solid. It does a great job capturing the environment of Hell's Paradise. And from everything I've seen in the anime so far, it has been really impressive. And I've also noticed that there hasn't been a whole lot of CGI used, with a bigger emphasis on using 2D animation, which I'm extremely thankful for, because it can sometimes take me out of the moment with just how jittery and awkward it looks at times. Even though the CGI isn't awful when MAPPA do it, I'm just personally biased and would like to see this anime be as great as possible without relying on CG a lot. Although I do understand that at times it is necessary, so I'm not going to crucify animes for using it unless it's awful. Even though I don't really have many issues with Hell's Paradise, there is one big one that comes to mind. And as much as I hate to say it, this anime's weakness is its art style. While the animation is superb and the art quality is amazing, the way the art style is captured in the anime isn't that impressive when compared to everything else it does right. It's especially evident in the faces. They look kind of flat, and while I do think that there are some moments where the characters' faces are well detailed, for the most part it's inconsistent and lacks some detail. Now I'm not trying to say that the art style is bad, because it is nowhere near as bad as some other animes, but it's the weakest aspect of this anime so far from what I can tell. And I do think that the Hell's Paradise art style is hard to capture for an anime, but MAPPA are at least trying their best here. I appreciate them trying to incorporate a drawn aesthetic into the faces, as it does help compensate a bit for just how flat the art style can be at times. But other than the faces, the character design overall was pretty good, and while watching Hell's Paradise, I decided to watch the anime in both sub and dub. And I gotta say, and I hate to be that guy, but the sub is better.
Oh shit, here we go again.
The dub performance is kind of unenthusiastic. If you're a dub watcher, I'm not gonna crucify you for watching dub, but I would recommend the sub, as I do think the characters are more expressive and entertaining than in the dub. But regardless of everything, I have really enjoyed this anime so far. There are so many characters that I am excited about, and I can't wait for everyone else to meet them. This anime has done such a faithful job to the manga, and I couldn't be happier. And despite all the animes that MAPPA have worked on recently, I think that they have once again struck gold with Hell's Paradise, and have done an incredible job bringing it to life, proving once again why they are one of the best animation studios out there. While there are a couple of things that I don't like that happen in the manga, with some scenes losing their emotional impact, in the long run that is such a small issue when compared to how great Hell's Paradise is overall, with the other 99.99% of this anime basically being perfect. I would recommend reading the Hell's Paradise manga to anyone who can't wait for the next episode or for the next season, and find out for yourself why Hell's Paradise is one of the best shonens ever made. With great fights, plenty of twists, and a well-rounded cast of characters, I think a lot of people are going to love this anime. Thank you everyone for watching, and I hope to catch you all in the next video.